This video is the continuation of our last if else block. In this video, we are going to go much deeper into if else block and we are going to look into some of the interesting problems. Let's jump into a Jupyter notebook directly. Okay. So let's move into a next part, or let's edit this code a bit more. Okay. So let's move into a problem statement where we have been given a question that write a program in Python to print out if a person is eligible to vote or not. If he is eligible to vote, print you are eligible to vote, else print out you are not eligible to vote, along with tell him how many years he has to wait. Okay, so most of the work is already done for us. The first part is already done, that we are eligible to vote. Now what we can do is we can just create out one more variable. You are not eligible to vote, then I'm going to do one more thing, print wait for the following wait for, I'm going to use f string. Let's use out f string over here. I'm going to write f, and inside of this I'm going to write 18 minus whatever the age is. Wait for this many. Yes, if I execute 12. So if I'm writing 12, so it will print you're not eligible to vote, wait for more 6 years. Okay, this is f string that we have already gone through in our last sections when we are discussing about data types. Now if you are eligible to vote, then it will be working just fine. Now let's look into one more problem of, let's compare out two numbers. We have a equals to 10, or let's take input from user. Num1 equals to int. I'm going to copy this code after writing it up. Enter number 1, then copy this out, copy, paste, and num2, change it to num2. Now what I'm going to do is, if num1 is greater than num2, print again I'm going to use a f string, num1 is greater than, again a whole num2. Now moving into else part, if num1 is greater than num2, then it will print that num1 is bigger than num2, else if it is not bigger, okay, then it can be, let's copy this, paste it out, going to change it to num2 and num1. So this code will tell us which of the numbers out of the two that is given by the user is bigger. Let's execute it. I'm going to give 12 and 13, and it will just tell me 13 is greater than 12. Let's increase the readability a bit. Okay, so let's say 12 and 13. So successfully you have gotten out that 13 is greater than 12. Same thing, let's some random numbers. Let's write some big numbers. Oops. Okay. So it will just give us whichever number is greater than. So if else statement works for a situation where there are only two conditions. If the condition is true, else the condition is false. Okay. Now let's look into last example for this section. Even or odd. Check a number is even or not. Check. Let me write out the question. Check the number is even or odd. That's it. Check the number is even or odd. Now a number can be either even or it can be false. So there are again two conditions. Now how to check if a number is even or if a number is odd? Let's just start with building up the logic of it. What is an even number? An even number is a number that is divisible by 2. Any number that is divisible by 2 will be having remainder as 0. So let's say 10, remainder 2, it is 0 because 10 is an even number. Same thing if we look at 9, 9 will be having remainder as 1. This is the remainder operator, arithmetic operator that we have been using in our past section. Okay. So that's the basic logic about if it is an even number, it will be 0. Now we can just check out by using this. So I am checking out that if the answer of this 2 is equal to 0 or not. if it is equal to 0, then it is an even number, else it is an odd number. So that's the logic behind even and odd. So let's build up 2, 0. Let's start by coding out. I'm going to take out the first line of code from here, num1, or just going to name it at num. Now, if num modulus or num remainder 2 equal to 0, you can write it out in a bracket just to increase the readability part. Now, what exactly is happening is, if the number is completely divisible by 2, as we look for 10, or let's say for 12, any other number, it will give us back, so 10, it will give us back 0, because it is completely divisible by 2. So the remainder will be 0, and if we compare it, both the output are 0, then we are gonna get true or false. Now, same thing we have applied over here. If the remainder of the num while dividing it by 2 is 0, that is equal to 0, that is again a comparison operator, then it is going to print. I'm going to use f string num is even, else I'm going to print out, just going to copy this code back again rather than writing a long big section. Oops. Num is odd. So this should be working just fine. Let's say 54 is even. Same thing if we check for 45, it is odd. Again, let's say 12, it is even. 13, it is odd. So that's how you can build out a logic for a code. So first of all, let's break this problem once more. So we had a problem statement where we have to find out that the number is even or it is odd. So the logic behind it was, if the number while dividing by 2 gives us a remainder as 0, then it is an even number, else it is not an even number. Same thing we are doing over here. We are checking out if while dividing it by 2 we are getting the remainder 0, and comparing it, if both over here also we have 0 and over here also we have 0, we are comparing the factor. If they are, it will return us true. If the condition is true, then it is going to print out num is even, else it will print out num is odd. That's it for if-else statement. These problems were enough to get your hands dirty on if-else statement. In our next video, we are going to go through nested if.